Then when it came to Tom Bradley, I don't think that he deserved it, but he was the fall guy. Meaning this, we know that Keith Butler's the DC. You could fire him as the DC, sure, but he's not just the DC. He's also outside linebackers coach. And what has happened since he's taken over as outside linebackers coach? TJ Watt has went from really good player to defensive player of the year candidate back-to-back years. Probably will win it this year. What do we see with Bud Dupree? Bud Dupree went from a good guy, kind of bust, kind of okay, to double-digit sack guy multiple years. We saw Alex Highsmith come in as a rookie and play well at times. And this doesn't even speak on what he's been able to do throughout his tenure when he had the inside and outside linebackers in terms of guys like James Ferrier, in terms of guys like Ryan Shazier, Lawrence Timmons, Lamar Woodley. All these guys were under his tutelage as well. So to remove him as DC, you also remove him as your outside linebackers coach as well, in theory, and you don't want to touch that as well. So I didn't see them touching him. And then obviously the other defensive coordinator is who? Mike Tomlin. You're not firing Mike Tomlin because obviously he's your head guy as well. So that's why when I said, okay, who would you look to? Because you got to have somebody to go from the defense. If you're taking two guys from this offense, you got to have somebody just to let the defense, because let's be real, the defense, they had their shortcomings. They definitely dropped the ball.
It's weird, but secondary was that the worst out of the group? I mean, but that's maybe for a whole season, maybe.
And that's the difference. I do think throughout the whole season, they were the healthiest group. We talked about in that D line. We talked about obviously linebackers outside and inside, what they dealt with. They still were able to handle it. But throughout the year, the secondary was the most healthiest group. Granted, at the end, obviously Joe had some COVID and stuff like that to deal with, and that held him out. But for the majority of the time, Minka, Edmonds, Nelson, they would typically have 3 of the 4 guys every time. And what did we see continually throughout the year? It started out early. The miscommunications on the back end, being susceptible to big plays. We thought it was an early thing due to a lack of preseason, but we saw that actually continued even in the wild card game. It was
a little scattered, but you saw it.
It still continued. So when you talk about all of this and understand that you want to make a change, but knowing the two guys that technically, if you were going to make a change in the traditional year, it would be one of those two guys, whether it's Tomlin or Butler, but you're not doing that. The next best thing is Tom Bradley, the secondary coach. So that's why when I looked at him, I said, I don't really view him as the guy, but you kind of do it anyways. It would have been the equivalent if they would have said, all right, we can't touch Fichtner, so we'll fire Eddie Faulkner, the running backs coach. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been that type of thing. Like, all right, technically, I mean, it's not all on you, but you played a part, so you'll be the guy.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I looked at it. So I think that they did what they had to do. And this episode was brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only is it safe, Deke, but it is secure and reliable.
Always a great thing.
No question. And for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, you like free money, right?
Who doesn't?
You also like the opportunity to win more money, correct?
Especially when it involves sports.
So what are they waiting on? Download the app, use the promo code, and you get that. You get that opportunity to make some more money, baby. So literally, stop wasting time. Download the app, use the promo code, and get that opportunity, baby.